Hi, my name is Andy, and in this video we're going to learn how to play Words Don't Come Easy to Me chord melody version. Okay, this tune is in the key of C, and the first thing that you should learn is the chords. And so it starts on a C chord, goes to A minor, then you play D minor, and a G. And then on the second line we have E minor, followed by A, D minor again, another G, and finish up with a C. Those are the chords for the first verse of the tune. Okay, now let's learn how to play the melody. The melody of the tune starts on C, first fret, second string. It's a long note, 6 counts. Then play D, third fret, second string. Play open E again, followed by F, first fret, first string. Then C, first fret, second string. Then open B. Okay, so let's cover the melody on that first line. So far it sounds like this. Okay, now let's cover the next part. Second line starts on B again, then you play an A, second fret, third string, and open G. Those three notes are played fast. Then we'll go to a high note, high G. That's third fret on string 1. And that's a long note, that's 6 counts. Followed by the note D, third fret, second string. Then C sharp, second fret, second string. So that sounds like this. Okay, next part. Back to D again. Open E, first fret, first string. That's an F. Okay, next move. The note C, fret 1 on the second string. Open B. And then we have a triplet coming up at the end here. This triplet is open B, the note C, which is first fret on the second string, and then the note D, third fret on the second string. And then finish up with another hit on the D, and then you know that we're in the key of C, so end the melody on the note C, fret 1, second string. Okay, I'm going to play the entire melody all the way through. Here it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it was. Okay, now let's play the chords and the melody at the same time. Basically, the way that we're going to accomplish this is we're going to take the chords and we're going to play straight eighth notes with finger picking, like this. Okay, and the melody is easy to put in there once you can do that. Okay, let's discuss how that happens. What I did was I played all the chords, but instead of strumming, I'm going to do finger picking. And what I'm doing with my finger picking is I'm starting with a C chord, and I'm playing string 5, string 3, string 4, string 3. Just the 3 lowest sounding notes of a C chord, like this. Okay, and I'm picking the strings with my thumb, index, thumb, and then index again. So thumb, index, just thumb and index only. That leaves you a couple other fingers to play the melody. now we're going to go through all the chords using this pattern. There's my C chord. Here's my A minor. Okay, when we hit D minor, we hit a roadblock because the D minor chord only plays the 4 skinniest strings of the guitar. So we're going to have to move our pattern over. When you get to D minor, you have to play 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 2. Same pattern, just moved over a string. Okay, let's move on. Then when you play a G chord, okay, the pattern here is 6, 3, 4, 3, 6, 3, 4, 3. I'm not playing string 5 at all. Okay, what's next? E minor. Once again, 6, 3, 4, 3, 6, 3, 4, 3. Then A minor is next. I think you know this pattern. 5, 3, no wait, this is A major. 5, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 3. Okay, then D minor. That's starting on string 4. 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 2. Okay, then G chord is next. 6, 3, 4, 3, 6, 3, 4, 3. Then we're back to a C chord, which is the same chord we started on. 5, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 3. There you go. Now at the end, I like to do a little fill. And when I've reached the end of the tune, I'm going to play a D minor and a G, and then I hit a repeat sign and go back to the top. So it's, I guess, what you would call a turnaround. It's just one measure of music. It has 2 chords, and it makes it sound like we're about to begin again. And so that measure is D minor, only half a measure, then G. So you have to split that measure in half. D minor, then G. Okay, then we're back at the top. Okay, let's practice all that finger picking stuff. 1, 2, 3, go. C, A minor, D minor, G, E minor, A, D minor, G, C. Here's the turnaround. Bang, we're back at the top. Okay, if you can play that, I'm sure you'll get this chord melody. Let's add in the melody and the chords now. So as you begin your C chord, when you play your C chord at the beginning of the tune, you're going to strike string 2, which is your melody note, at the same time that you hit your bass note, which is low C on string 5. So you've got 2 strings to hit together like a pinch. Okay, after you've hit those 2 strings together, continue your picking pattern. So the first measure sounds like this. Okay, second measure starts with A minor. No melody notes yet. You just play the first 4 notes of the finger picking pattern. Okay, but then we have to play some melody notes. We're going to play a melody note, 3rd fret, 2nd string. So we got to use our pinky. Then we'll fill in with a little background music. We'll hit the 3rd string softly. Just an extra 8th note to fill in the time. Then open E is the next melody note. And then another 8th note to fill in the time. Softly play the 3rd string. Okay, so the second measure sounds like this. Make sure you play the melody notes loud and play the other notes soft. Like that. When you put it together, it sounds like this. Okay, let's move on. We're going to play a D minor. Okay, so in the 3rd measure it's D minor. Now what he does though is this. The first melody note is open E, so you're going to have to remove your first finger and play kind of a modified D minor chord. So it sort of looks like D minor with the first finger lifted up. Okay, so we get our open E melody note played at the same time as our bass note, which is on the 4th string. So play those together. Okay, and then continue the picking pattern. So the first 4 notes of this measure are pretty straightforward. Okay, next note is a melody note. You got to use your first finger, the one we took off, you got to put it back on and play fret 1, string 1. That's the note F. Play it loud, it's a melody note. Okay, let's move on. We're going to fill in an 8th note of time by playing the 3rd string softly. Okay, and then the next move is this. We're going to have to play 1st fret on the 2nd string. That means you have to move a couple of your fingers around to make that happen. So you got to sort of let go of the chord. Now play that 1st fret 2nd string nice and loud because that's a melody note. And then to finish off this measure, you guessed it, we're going to fill in an 8th note of time by playing the 3rd string very softly. Alright, there you go. There's your measure of D minor. So let's play that measure of D minor together. Sounds like this. Again. A little slower. Okay, time to move on to the G measure. Now I'm playing G in this folk music way, which means I'm using finger 2 and 3, and I'm using my pinky, and my first finger is not playing any notes. So this is kind of the folk or country music G. So try this fingering, it's going to work great for this song. One of the reasons why it works great is because a lot of times we don't play this pinky note. In fact, in this measure we're not going to play that note, so you don't necessarily have to use that. Same goes for the 2nd finger. That finger is not being played right now. So all we really need is finger 3, 3rd fret low string. That's kind of a part of a G chord. So we're not playing the full G, we're just playing part of it. Okay, here we go. So we're on a G chord. You play the bass note, of course. And the melody note is open B. So play the bass note G and the open B together. Okay, then we're going to do our picking. So the first 4 notes of this measure are pretty straightforward. Okay, now I have 3 melody notes in a row. Let's learn that. Open B, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, that's the note A, and open G. Sounds like this. Okay, now I still have to fill in one more 8th note of time at the end of the measure, and so this time we hit the 4th string very softly. There we go. Okay, so this whole G measure sounds like this. One more time. Okay, I'm going to play all 3 of the measures that we've covered so far in a row, and I'm going to play it nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's move on to the next part. The next part is E minor. Okay, so of course you're going to strike the low E for your bass note. Okay, but the melody note, though, is 3rd fret on the high E string. That's a high G. So you've got to strike your low E bass note and your high G at the same time. Okay, then you fill in with some picking. Okay, so one more time. The first 4 notes of this measure are very basic. The Okay, then the next move we're going to do is we're going to play the second string, then the third string, then we're going to play the second string, third fret, nice and loud, it's a melody note, followed by another soft open G. Okay, so that measure sounds like this. Okay, time to move on. Now we're playing an A major chord in the next measure. I suggest playing it with 3 fingers in a row rather than the A bar chord because it'll be easier. Okay, so you're playing the A chord, you're playing open A for your bass note, and you're playing the second string, second fret. That's a C sharp, that's your melody note. So play those together, and then of course you do some picking. So the first 4 notes of this measure are just like the first 4 notes of all the other measures we've covered virtually. So it sounds like this. Okay, moving on. Third fret, second string, that's your melody note. That's a D. I'm using my pinky for that note. Then fill in an 8th note of background music by hitting the third string softly. Next melody note's open E. Play it loud, followed by another soft hit on string 3. Okay, so we've just played the full A measure, and it sounds like this. Okay, let's move on. We're back to D minor. We played a D minor earlier, but this one is not quite the same. So set up your D minor chord, just play it the basic way, straight old basic D minor. Okay, you're going to hit string 4, open D for your bass note. You're going to hit string 1, fret 1, that's an F, that's your melody note. And then of course you're going to do some picking. Of course the picking here though is a little bit different. It's not the same pattern we discussed before. It has a lot to do with the melody notes coming up around string 2, and so I'm not going to do my picking involving string 2 this time. So I'm going to change the rules a little bit here in order to accommodate the melody. So what I'm doing is when I do my picking, I'm going to go 3, 4, 3. So that's my picking. So I'm going to explain that one more time. I'm hitting string 4 and string 1 at the beginning of the measure, nice and loud. Then softly I'm going to go 3, 4, 3, like that. Okay, then the next move I'm going to do is I'm going to hit string 2, which is a melody note. Then I'm going to hit string 3 softly. Okay, then here's a move. I got to play fret 1 on the second string. So I'm going to have to move my fingers around and let go of the chord to get that. It's a melody note, so I'm going to play it loud. Okay, and then of course I'm going to hit string 3 softly to fill in one more 8th note of time. So all together, this measure goes like this. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. We're going to play a G chord. Okay, here we go. One more time, it's just simply finger 3, 3rd fret on the low string. It's the only finger I need. I'm not going to set up a full G chord here. I'm just going to play that 3rd fret low string as my bass note. And I'm going to play open B for my melody note, and I'm going to hit them at the same time. Then you know what to do, 4 notes of picking. So that sounds like this. Okay, now here comes a triplet. The triplet sounds like this. 3 notes across 2 beats. Okay, here we go. It's open B. 1st fret on the 2nd string. That's a C. And 3rd fret on the 2nd string. That's a D. Okay, so that measure sounds like this. Okay, so everything's an 8th note, then triplets. Triplet. let's move on. Final melody notes are in this final C measure here. Here we go. So set up your C chord. And when you play this C chord, your melody note this time is 3rd fret 2nd string. That's a D. Play that note nice and loud along with your bass note, which is on string 5. You get a dissonance there. Okay, and then of course do some picking. Boy, this measure is a lot like a lot of the other measures, which is you hit a melody note with the bass and then 3 picking notes. Okay, then finally you're going to remove your pinky and place 1st finger on the 1st fret 2nd string, so that gives you your standard C chord, and you hit string 2 nice and loud because that's your melody note, and 3 more notes of picking. Okay, so that measure sounds like this. Okay, now we're at the turnaround. There's no melody here. This is just a couple chords to fill in another measure of time, and so that it sounds like we're about to repeat. So this is kind of filler music. This is not a melody, just chords only. So I'm going to play. You can actually do any picking you want as long as you use D minor and G. So I'm just doing the picking we discussed before. I'm playing string 1 and string 4, 2, 3, 2. Then I'm playing string 6 and string 1. And I'm going 2, 3, 2. Then I start over. Okay, that was the whole first verse of the song Words. And it's played chord melody style, just like Naudo. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video.